6 weeks. That's all it takes for many business owners to start questioning everything. How am I going to get my client work done? What happens if the children are home all day? Should I be working? Should I be spending more time with them? And why does it feel like everyone else has this figured out except me? If you've ever gone into a school holiday feeling stressed before it's even started, today's episode is for you. Welcome back to the Visionary VA podcast. I'm Holly Copsey, and each fortnight I share practical advice, honest conversations, and sustainable strategies to help you build a business that works alongside your life, not at the expense of it. Today, we're talking about something that affects so many business owners, particularly those of us with children: how to build a business that survives school holidays. Because one of the things nobody really talks about when they tell you to start a business for more flexibility is that flexibility cuts both ways. Yes, you get more freedom, but you're also the person responsible for making everything work. And if you're a parent, school holidays can feel like one of the biggest tests of whether you've actually built a sustainable business or simply created yourself another demanding job. I've had this challenge every year since starting my business 8 years ago, when I had a 9-month-old and a 3.5-year-old as a solo parent. My children are now 8 years older and almost 9 and 12, but I've experienced all of it. The childcare juggling, the working odd hours, the guilt, the trying to be present while also keeping clients happy. And over the years, I've realized the goal isn't to survive school holidays. The goal is to build a business that can withstand them. Because school holidays aren't an unexpected emergency. They happen every year. We know they're coming. And if we know they're coming, we can build accordingly. So today I want to share some of the lessons I've learned about creating a business that survives school holidays without you ending up exhausted, overwhelmed, or feeling like you're failing at everything. The first mindset shift is that school holidays are not a disruption to your business. They're part of your business. If you have children, this is just simply part of your operating model. Yet every year I see people act shocked when July arrives. They've taken on more work than they can realistically manage. They haven't communicated with clients. They haven't adjusted expectations. And suddenly everything feels stressful. Instead, build your year around the reality of your life. You know when half term is. You know when the summer holidays are. You know when Christmas is. So use that information, plan for it, and build around it. Don't wait until the holidays start before thinking about your workload, because by then it's too late. A few weeks before any school holiday period, ask yourself, what absolutely has to happen? What can wait? What can be delegated? What can be simplified? And what can be paused? Not everything needs to continue at full speed, and that's okay. Business isn't a sprint, and sometimes maintaining momentum is enough. Then make sure you communicate with clients early. Most clients are incredibly understanding. What causes problems is usually a lack of communication rather than reduced availability. If you know your working pattern will be different, tell people. Set expectations. Let them know when you'll be available, any days you're taking off, how urgent requests will be handled, what the arrangements are for cover if they want any deadlines they need to be aware of. Clients generally appreciate transparency. What they don't appreciate is silence. Then you need to think about building more margin into your business. This is probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned. Businesses that survive school holidays have margin. Margin in time, margin in finances, and margin in capacity. If every week of the year already feels full, holidays will expose that immediately. One of the reasons I advocate for sustainable pricing is because it gives you options. If your business only works when you're working flat out, that's not a business problem you'll solve with better time management. It's usually a business model problem. You also need to let go of perfection. As serial people pleasers and perfectionists who are super conscientious about the work we do, I know this is tough to hear, particularly if you're an ambitious overachiever. School holidays often require a different definition of success. Success might not be winning new clients, breaking revenue records, or launching a new service. It might simply be maintaining excellent service, keeping things moving, being present with your family, and protecting your energy. Then coming back in September, ready to go again. Not every season is about growth. Some seasons are about maintenance. You might also want to consider building support around you. This doesn't necessarily mean hiring a team, but it does mean thinking about the support you need. Could you swap childcare with another parent for a few hours? My sister works with me in my business and we often coordinate our diaries, so we take each other's children for a few hours to get some focused work time. Can you batch work into specific blocks? I like to get up really early and get a few hours under my belt before the children are even awake, and I can then take a couple of hours out here and there before having another work blitz in the evening. Perhaps you could consider bringing in an associate just for the short term or to cover any holiday you take. You could do the same for them when they take leave. I know lots of VAs this works really well for, and it's another reason why building a strong network of other VAs is so important. Maybe you could reduce your commitments temporarily. If you have retainer clients, then of course you'll want to keep them, but try to time any project work to finish ahead of the holidays and budget so you don't need to take on additional work over the holiday period. Do you have any family support you can lean on, even if just for a few hours here and there? My children go to their dad for one day a week in the summer, so I make sure I get a solid 12-hour day in when they're away and try to schedule any calls for that day too. It's taken me a long time to learn how to ask for help. It's never been something I'm very good at, but it's a skill I've had to learn over the years. You don't have to do everything alone. It's okay to ask for help, and often the strongest businesses are built by people who are willing to ask for it. And finally, maybe the most important point of all, remember why you started. For many of us, it's because we want more freedom, more flexibility, and more time with our family. But when school holidays arrive, we often spend the entire time feeling guilty for not working enough, or guilty for not being present enough, trying to do both perfectly, and feeling like we're failing at both. But remember, your business exists to support your life, not the other way around. And that doesn't mean abandoning your business every school holiday. I certainly don't. And of course, we still need to make a living. But it does mean reminding yourself what you're building all of this for. Because one day your children won't want to spend 6 weeks with you. One day those school holidays will stop. And whilst your business will still be there, these moments won't be. So please be kind to yourself, give yourself a break, cut yourself a bit of slack, and be realistic about where you have to spend your time and what might be able to wait. And if there's one thing I want you to take from today's episode, it's that a sustainable business isn't one that only works when life is quiet. A sustainable business works alongside real life, and real life includes school holidays, sick children, family commitments, and unexpected disruptions. The businesses that thrive long-term aren't the ones built around perfect conditions. They're the ones built to withstand imperfect ones. If you've got a school holiday coming up, don't ask, how am I going to survive this? Instead, ask, how can I design my business to support me through it? That's where real sustainability comes from. Not working harder, but building smarter. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Visionary VA podcast. I'll be back on Thursday, the 2nd of July with the next one. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your biggest school holiday survival tip. Drop me a message on our socials or comment wherever you're listening and let me know. Finally, if you're looking for some support to help you build a more sustainable business you can actually step away from, you might be interested in my business mentoring services, which we've just launched over at the VA Handbook. I'll add the link to the show notes if you'd like to find out more. See you next time.